Hey kids, supper time. I'm going to try an experiment. It's going to be jerk chicken with noodles and vegetables, and we're going to see how this turns out. Let me show you what I got out for the cook. Okay, so I got my big griddle out. I'm going to turn this sucker up to about a 7 or 8 on the electric stove. I've got some water, some grapeseed oil. I have some pre-cooked chicken. This is the chicken breast that you get pre-sliced at the store that make great for sandwiches or whatever. I've pre-cooked them already and I flavored them with some garlic herb stuff. I got out some Jamaican jerk, my veggies over here, some scallions, green peppers, tricolored peppers, some chopped onion, that's a half of one, about equal amounts of yellow squash, zucchini, broccoli as well, some green peppers in the back. And this was the leftover noodles I had from the other evening when I made the beef and noodles. So that's about a half a package roughly, pre-cooked and already done. So I'm going to use part of that. I'm not sure how much yet, but we're going to get the griddle hot, and as soon as it's hot, we're going to start cooking. Okay, we're up to temp. We're going to add our grapeseed oil because it handles the heat a lot better. Swirl this around a little bit here. Yeah, that looks like a lot. But we're going to cook a lot. And in goes onions. What we're making tonight will probably go for 2 meals, so I'm not too concerned about the amount of grapeseed oil that I put in there at the moment. I've got this thing on about a 7. I think I'm going to turn it up to about an 8 on the electric stove here. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt on that to help them sweat just a bit. Mostly we check and use the Himalayan Sea Salt, and that will do that for now. And let that get a little bit translucent, and then I'm going to start dumping in some of the harder to cook vegetables. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're about to where we want to be with those onions getting translucent, so I'm going to go ahead and start dumping in some of the harder vegetables like peppers. I had already some pre-chopped green peppers in the refrigerator, and there's my tricolored. Let them get a little bit of a stir on them, and then we'll keep going from there. It's looking good already though. It's smelling great. So, it's what's for dinner. It's what's for dinner. Okay, I just want to show you this a little bit. What I try to do is, what I find out is this skillet gets warm around the outside and cooks better in the middle. So I tried to take and move the stuff from the outside to the inside. Now, that's sometimes easier said than done, and I sometimes lose track of where I'm going. But that's the main goal. And then I just keep watching and looking for the color change in the peppers as they're cooking. Primarily the green ones, because I can see that. And when they start getting to where they're changing a little bit of a color, then that's when I'm going to start adding some more veggies. So for the moment, this is what we're doing. We're just pulling stuff from the outside, pouring it to the inside, flipping it over, trying to make sure it gets a good sear all the way around. And oh, it's smelling really good. This is going to taste great, I think. This is another science experiment. Oh, well, vegetables aren't a science experiment, but I've cooked vegetables like this before. They've always turned out pretty good, but I've never done it with noodles and jerk seasoning. So this definitely is an experiment. Sometimes the best experiments turn out in a good meal. So, be back in a bit. We're going to keep cooking. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you what we're looking for. I don't know if you can see this very good, but that right there is a little bit different color than those right there. See, those are bright green, and those are a little bit more dull. That's what we're trying to do, is to get all of them about the same before we start adding the next group of vegetables to it. So I'm going to keep cooking this a little bit longer, and be back real soon, I know. Okay, it's done as what I want to get it. So I'm going to add the yellow squash and the zucchini, and let those start to cook a little bit, and then we'll go from there. This is one of my favorite meals, really. Nice big vegetables, stir fry of some kind. And I can control how much salt, what kind of oils are in it versus some of the stuff that you get prepackaged at the store. And if you make it yourself, it's a lot cheaper. For with a bag of cost for at the grocery store of maybe $6 or something like that, you can get all the vegetables that you want, make a really, really healthy meal. So maybe you should try this. I think it would serve you well. Oh, here we go. Keep getting those vegetables in the middle. Might give these a steam here in a minute. It's Coming up next, we're going to let them cook just a little bit longer. Get those pieces of zucchini and squash down on the bottom and let's start to get a good grill on them. Yeah, and then we'll steam them a little bit more. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, I'm going to cook them a little bit. And this is what I'm trying to do, is to get a little bit of that sear on some of those vegetables. So I'm like squishing them down in there to the bottom of the pan, nice hot there in the middle. Giving them a minute or two to sear, and then giving them a flip so I can try to get as many of them done like that as possible. And it's working, but I got to keep working it. Oh yeah. Squish them down in there, let them get a good sear, flip them some more from the outside. Good stuff. See, like that. That one right there. That's what I like. Hopefully more to come. Okay, gotten a real good sear on those. I'm going to add the broccoli. And I'm going to add them scallions a little bit, because I think that'll taste really good in there. I'm going to give them a little bit of a cook. Add some water, let that steam just a bit. And here we go, just a little bit. There you go, see? Just enough to create a little bit of steam, not too much. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah, baby. Now we're cooking. Check that out. That's going to be yum. Okay, I'm going to work this a little bit. And we'll see what it looks like here in a couple minutes. Okay, I've let all that initial water steam off. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit. I got everything all scooped to the center there. Yeah, you got to hear that sizzle. That's what we want. It's what's going to steam it. And keep doing our flips. Bring everything from the outside into the middle. Get that broccoli a little bit more tender before we add our chicken, noodles, and our jerk. Here we go. This might be good with cashews in it too. That might be something. That could be a thing, huh? Alright, back in a minute. Okay, I just threw in my chicken. I'm going to put a little bit of water on there just to let it steam, just a hair. I'm going to add these noodles to it too, because they're kind of cold. So I'm just going to use about half of this, I think. I don't think I'm going to use all of it. Put some noodles in there. Yes, I'm using my fingers. Just a little bit more, I think. So I don't want it all about the noodles. I want about the vegetables and the chicken. And that's all we're going to put in, I think. And let that steam a little bit and go from there. I'm going to give it a swizzle. There we go. Oh, that's starting to look good. I'm going to add a little more water here too. So that way our noodles don't stick and our chicken gets steamed. There we go. We'll see what this looks like here in just a minute. Okay, that handful or so of noodles, which was only about half of that container that was pre-cooked, is just the equal amount of noodles that we need versus the vegetables. It's still all about the vegetables and the meat and not all about the noodles. Just want to add the jerk seasoning to it now here because everything's all warmed up. About that much is all I think we're going to do. Swirl that around. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Oh baby, that's what's going to be for dinner. Check that out. I might put just a hair more jerk on there. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. Yeah, that's plenty. That's good. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to get this thing done and off the stove and into something we can serve for dinner. And call the hubby because it's late and we're hungry. Hope you enjoy. I'll let you know what it tastes like here in a bit, but it looks great and it smells wonderful. Oh yeah, that looks great. Alright. So what's for dinner? Check that out.